I think we're live. I haven't seen it on my Facebook page yet, but it's always delayed. So good morning, everybody. Welcome back to our Zoom, which we are going to try to rename today to make it more about what we actually do. So welcome. Hey, Kathy. Hi, Mary.
Hey, Linda. Hi, Kathy.
Hopefully we
And
have.
yes, you are live on the page.
Hopefully we have a few more people join us today, and just a couple of girlfriends, not a couple, a group of girlfriends getting together and chatting about everything under the sun, but mostly health and wellness, mostly how we can be our best selves health-wise, which I think is an important topic when we're all over 50 and things change. And you can either let old age get the better of you or kick it in the pants. And I don't know, I guess I'm under the opinion, or maybe the delusion, that I'll never be old, at least as a feeling emotionally, that I feel like I'm still 30. I don't know. I can't do what I could do when I was 30. And that's part of the reason for the group, is that I want to go backwards just a little bit. As a realist, I know I'm not going to be anywhere near where I was at 30 or 40, but there's no reason to get old. I think it's a mindset. What do you think? Mary, do you feel old? Do you think that it's a mindset, that you have the ability to be young, young at heart, young in spirit?
Well, it depends on what day. But sometimes I feel young in spirit, and let's go and let's do this. And other times I feel like, oh my God, I'm so old. So I think it is a mindset. It depends what's happening, at least for me. So like this was a tough couple of days. So my baby is sick. So, and she's my baby.
Yeah.
Even so, she's a dog, but
yeah.
But anyhow, and I'm debating. I might have to take her to the hospital tonight. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because she could be dehydrated, so I have to check her all day.
Right. Oh, poor thing.
Yeah.
I'll say a prayer for you. I forgot her name.
Megan.
I don't know why I can't remember that. I've asked you several times. I'm sorry.
And also I'm doing emptying my storage unit because I'm tired of paying for it.
Right.
I've got boxes everywhere. I can hardly walk through my
organization. That's what I've been trying to organize, this office, and I spent all day yesterday doing things, and I never intended to do it. That wasn't my intent when I walked in here in the morning. And then I just I ended up like reorganizing all of my cookbooks that I print something off the internet, and they're all in. I have them all organized, but then with whole food plant-based, they were like, these aren't working for me. So I spent the whole day redoing that, and then making room in here. I actually reorganized some things. So it feels good when you do that, but it takes a lot more time than you know.
Like I feel that. I feel good when I can just like empty my email and the trash on and you go through that. I go, oh, my phone feels so much lighter. My computer.
I think with that mindset,
like get rid of the trash, get rid of the garbage mail.
Right.
And focus on the good stuff.
I think probably we all need that checklist of things that you do that you can actually see that you did it. Even if it's just putting the laundry away, which is I'm terrible at, but feel a sense of accomplishments because you can see something, or you don't see as many crap emails on your phone or whatever. So having that I use a checklist a lot of times, and checking things off makes me happy. And then when I get enough of them checked off, I write the list again and add new things to it. But as far as being old and that mindset thing, I think, Mary, it probably comes down to stress sometimes. Like, how do you handle stress? So when stressful things come into your life, I know for me, the last 3 months I've been spinning my wheels because I was stressed. I mean, it was the holiday and my dad was sick, and I know when I'm really stressed about certain little things, but this was like a long-term stress, and it's all up and down my spine right now. And I have to schedule my chiropractor visits because he's got a whole like 3-month thing for me to straighten my spine and get rid of the pain. But I guess I didn't deal with the stress as well as I had hoped I would. And then it manifests itself in other ways, like physically. Good news is, though, my dad had his feeding tube removed, and he moved home on Wednesday. We picked up his pup from the boarding, the kennel, and he's been doing great. I made him a checklist. I should make one for myself. He has to write down everything he eats and the calories to make sure that he's getting enough food, enough nutrition, and the same with water. And he's doing it. And he went from like 1,400 calories at the beginning of the week to like 1,800 yesterday. So he still doesn't have an appetite, but he's eating enough and what he should, and he's keeping track of the water. He had 2.5 liters yesterday, so it's doing good. The only problem he still has is he wakes up in the middle of the night, like from 3 to 4, and wanders the house. It's weird, but yeah, that level of stress. So I decided I had no more excuses, and I actually went outside and exercised for the first time since this all happened 3 months ago. I didn't have time to do a full workout, but I did 18 minutes, and I'm proud of it because every little bit counts, and maybe I'll go back and do the rest of it later. But I guess that brings me to my choice of topic today. What I wrote down was excuses versus choices. That and I guess it's the same thing, right? You make a choice, or you don't make a choice because you have some excuse for it. And I don't know, Mary, if you saw the Venn diagram I posted online, you can print one out and
on my refrigerator.
Okay. So I think maybe we should all kind of, after our discussion, kind of do these and like take a picture and post them if it's not too personal. That it would be fun to see what people come up with. And the headings for that, the conviction, convenience, and excuses, you can change them to fit whatever you need to fit to make sense of it. But I know for myself that I have conviction about certain things, and what are they? Non-negotiables. Sorry. They're non-negotiables, and there's very little that interferes with that portion, those things that I'm really convicted about. But in that same sense, like, I am trying to eat whole food, plant-based. But out of convenience or excuses, I sometimes stray from that. And, my big excuse was, I'm sick. I was sick for 3 weeks and I had chicken soup and grilled cheese. So my excuse was I was sick. And out of convenience, it was easier to make something like that, I suppose. And, you also said, like, I think sometimes you just think, well, I'm doing so much right with my life, and maybe I need this right now, or maybe breaking the rules is okay because I'm sick, and it's the excuse. So I think if we look at ourselves critically, analytically, we reflect on that, we can see that we can probably make a few more positive choices in our lives if we eliminate some of those excuses or the conveniences. What I put, and I'll share this later, I'm not done with it because last night I was brainstorming and it's raw, but I started to put things on here. But if you notice what's in the middle of mine in the white where it affects all of the circles is time management. I feel like I'm terrible at time management. And if I could only manage my time more effectively, I'd have more time to do some of those other things that, I have excuses for. Like I was taking care of my dad. I didn't have time to exercise. Well, I probably did, but that was my excuse. So, this morning I got up with the intention of going and doing a full workout, but then I came in here and I made this and posted it and did all that stuff. And then I looked at the clock and I was like, well, I can do a little workshop. So I didn't allow the excuse of time to affect me actually getting out there and doing it, but it did affect how long I could do it. So I think for me, as I'm self-analyzing here live on Zoom, is that I don't manage my time well enough to make all of the choices that I would like to make. And it's probably not the only one, but it's probably not the only reason, I guess.
I think that's kind of with everyone because things come up, things get in the way. So you can have a perfectly scheduled day and of things that you want to accomplish or that you want to do, or you think that's healthy choices for you. And then something comes up and throws everything off. So sometimes it's an excuse like, oh, I don't have the time or I, don't feel like doing that or whatever it is.
Yeah, what's that?
Right.
I don't feel like it.
Yeah, I don't feel like doing that today. But like you said, with making healthy choices for eating, if you don't want to that particular day go through all the, prep work, then you just say, okay, let's go to the restaurant. Go to the restaurant and they might have healthy choices on the menu, but are you really picking those healthy choices? Or are you selecting something else that's more of like a comfort, like, hey, I'm out. I don't get to do this very often. I'm going to have, and then you make the choice. And when you get home, you're kind of like, oh, I regret that choice,
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, we had, I think when we try to go out to eat, it's our time to have fish. And so we'll have shrimp or salmon, something like that. And we do order out a lot, but we really try to make better choices, but not always. But it does, what it does is it breaks down your convictions when you do that, right? Out of convenience, your time management, you're willing to forego your conviction of healthy eating. And so I think if you put it in perspective like that, maybe you're not as apt to break that conviction when you are faced with that choice. If you put it in terms of, this is what I said I was going to do, and now I'm not doing it. What does that say about me? Right? I think it's too easy for us to be, follow convenience or make excuses. But I think if you think of it as breaking your conviction, maybe that has a little edge and some influence. I don't know. I mean, I don't want us to have this big guilt trip all the time just because,
Right.
You had a bite of steak. Oh no,
Right.
or whatever it is that you're trying to do.
But like I said, if you pick the comfort food that generally has some, and not with everybody, but maybe some side effects physically,
Mhm.
makes you feel kind of sluggish or makes your stomach a little upset if you're not used to eating like that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there are some healthy restaurants around. We have a few of them here in Michigan close by.
They're hard to find here.
They do have, you know, a meal or a few meals that
Mhm.
I would choose from and say, okay, this is convenient as well as it's still healthy.
Right.
So I have no excuse to select one of these 3 meals, you know,
Right.
instead of
Right.
the rest of the menu.
It comes down to choice. Like, are you choosing the good stuff for yourself or the bad stuff? And this isn't meant to beat ourselves up about
No.
some of those bad choices. It's just coming to the realization that how often do you make the bad choice and why? And once you start to realize that, perhaps you make it less often.
Right.
And I think we're entitled to our bad choices. I think we're entitled to have a grilled cheese sandwich when you don't feel good. I don't know about every single day, because that was what I felt miserable, but that was my comfort food. And I came out on the other side and I didn't gain any weight from it. So, but when you look, if I go back to my convictions about how I feel about dairy and animal products, then I broke my conviction and I put stuff that could be harmful to my body in my body. We're like this, right? We make those choices and we're like, this time I'm going to do it. So one choice that I've been contemplating lately is dyeing my hair. When I started essential oils and when I became more conscious of chemicals, I want to say it was like within the year, probably about 9 months in, that I had my last, had the highlights put in for the last time. So for me, it's been at least 5 years, maybe 6 years since I've put any dye in my hair. And that was sort of my choice based on my convictions that chemicals can hurt you, right? But lately I've been like lamenting my hair and thinking, the gray is showing through. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, or, you know, so I've been contemplating that choice. I'm not sure I'm going to do it yet, because after I got my hair cut, which it needed, I hadn't had it cut since June. It came to life again, and I don't feel like I needed the dye anymore. But nail polish, I will put nail polish on my nails. Same kind of thing. I don't do it all the time. I'm naked right now, but I mostly do a pedicure, because this is sandal country down here and I have ugly toes. But I do choose a better brand of nail polish that has fewer, there's a word for it and I can't remember what it is, but it's fewer of the bad chemicals are in it. There are a couple different brands where it's like 0.3 or 0.5, and I'm making this up because I can't remember what it's called, but there's one level that has like these 3 chemicals are not present, and then there's another brand that has these 5 chemicals are not present. So you can find stuff like that to help make your bad choice better, I suppose. But I'm still gonna paint my nails, even though I know that it could be possibly hurting me, right? Because I guess my excuse there is I'm doing so many good things for myself that this one bad thing is not going to be as detrimental as
Right. So if you're
I think.
supporting your immune system, you're thinking, okay, my immune system can handle this little bit once in a while. I'm not
Right.
talking about every day, strip it. And, you know, you would think that your body and your liver and everything else can cleanse those chemicals out.
Right, because
you're-
I'm not putting as many in. Yeah.
Right. And not as often.
I just thought of another excuse. I have to write it down and then I'll share it with you. I may have to rewrite this now because I just scribbled it, but and I'm a perfectionist in that way. It's got to look pretty. Another excuse is, at least I'm not so-and-so, you know, you see what she's doing, you know, or that sort of thing. Like we do that, not in a mean way, but in a as a means to compare ourselves and put ourselves on a different level to say, okay, I'm not so bad because this person's worse. And it's nothing against that person, whoever you happen to be, you know, like sometimes it's a complete stranger where you see, oh my gosh, lady, stop having yodels for lunch or whatever, ring dings. And, you know, or don't you know what you're doing to your heart? You know, when you think you see people and you go, oh, at least I'm not that person. We all do it, but it doesn't make it right. And it doesn't help you in your cheats, you know, if you're not standing by the things that you should be doing for your health. Do you compare? Am I alone in that?
No, you're not alone.
Okay.
I think everyone does that. And I think you're right. We don't voice it out to other people.
Right.
You're just thinking that in your head.
Right.
You're not saying, oh my gosh, you know, that person needs to whatever. Or you're right, you know, about eating something maybe they shouldn't, or whatever the case is.
Right.
You know, even within your own family, when, you know, something happens to someone health-wise, you think, you know what, years ago, we talked about this when your doctor first said you had whatever. And these are some better choices to make for yourself. And then they don't make those choices and boom, they end up in a worse situation than they did, you know, 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Yeah. And I put that in my excuses, that you don't believe it. You don't believe the hype, or you don't believe the research, or or maybe there isn't research, but maybe, you know, somebody's giving you advice and you go, oh, isn't that nice? And then you're like, what are they talking about? Right. And you just don't believe it. Why don't you believe it? Maybe there's not enough research out there, or maybe it's convenient for you not to believe it, or maybe it goes against your already established convictions. You know, if you are a keto person, and I don't know why I keep going back to food, but because I love food. If you're a keto person, you're embracing eating more fats, right? But if you are a whole food plant-based, they say you shouldn't have any oil at all. You know, no processed oil, no olive oil, none of that stuff, you know. And then there's a whole nother school of thought that says that we should eat like our ancestors ate. And so every single person is unique, and we have specific to our cultures and our DNA, a certain way to eat that most benefits your body. But we just don't have enough research there to find that all out, or for the common person to find it out. You know, I'd like to do that, but I haven't found any place to test that yet. But yeah, that one diet might be horrible for one person and great for another person. We've seen that in action, I'm sure. But finding out what works for you, you know, takes some toil and trouble, right?
Yeah, and then you're looking at genes that are handed down to you too. You know, because some people will have things, and I don't want to say just because their parents did or their grandparents did, but there are some things that will come up no matter how healthy you're eating and what, you know, what you're doing to make yourself healthier,
right,
will come up with a person.
right.
And then if you get it from both your parents, it's an even stronger thing. So you have to, you know, kind of look at that, you know, do they have high blood pressure? Do they have diabetes? Do they have, you know, whatever the case is, and see what they've had and see what you're doing to prevent it, because it could be lifestyle and it could be a gene, you know, a weakness in a gene maybe.
Right, right. I guess part of my conviction, my beliefs is that that it's at least 75% lifestyle, you know,
Mhm.
and I'm making that up. I'm not a doctor.
Right.
I'm not a researcher. I don't know. But I think that if once you believe that you're not a victim, and that most of your health, your health issues are reliant on your lifestyle and the choices that you make there, then you can stop being a victim and do something about it. And
Right.
yeah, you can't do anything about your heredity, what you've inherited from your parents or your grandparents, but you can also change your habits to minimize the effects of those things.
Exactly.
And so I believe that 85% of disease is what we do to ourselves. And there's only a much smaller percentage that is inherited, that we, get something because of a
And then
proclivity.
you have to look at your surroundings, when was your home built? How long ago? What did they put into your home? What's off-gassing in your home? If you have a new home, if you have carpeting, if you had wood, and all that affects your health.
Do
But
you
we don't
think most
about that.
people think about that when they're buying a home?
Not at
No.
all.
I don't think I don't think people think about it until they're looking for answers of why they are sick.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
then it becomes discovered. But like when you're looking for a new home, money is the number one thing, right? First of all,
Money,
can I afford this
education.
house? And does
Yeah.
it have the things that I want for convenience?
Right.
But I don't think, I'm not saying nobody does. I'm sure there's a good group of people who would be like all about their health, and I'm not moving into something that doesn't, that I haven't checked out thoroughly health-wise. But for the common person, I don't think we think about that. I never.
No, and
thought.
nowadays they're making our homes so much more energy efficient and more airtight
Mhm.
that sometimes that's not good because it's not breathing. Your home isn't breathing the way it's supposed to. So
Yeah, so your paint choice matters, your carpeting choices matter, because those are gonna give you those fumes, right?
right. And so, the old thing I remember years ago, anytime any of us were sick, and in the morning when we woke up, my mom would go and open up the bedroom window and close the door, get
Mhm.
those germs out of there, let the room, clear out. And then, because you're in it all night long, hacking and coughing and whatever. And then after, it was cold in the room, she would close the window and open up the door, and then the room would reheat,
Mhm.
and we'd be good to go. But that's what, and if we were still
Yeah.
sleeping, she might open up, the living
Smart
room
lady.
window or but she did that for years, and I always did that with my kids too.
So what are some good choices that you make for yourself that you're doing now? Let's pat each other on the back.
Okay. Well, like you mentioned earlier, exercise, trying to get more exercise in, trying to eat healthier. But I think there's some other things too that aren't as convenient, but I wish they were,
Mhm.
like going for a massage, maybe. I think that really releases a lot, gets your
Years.
lymphatics going, and, gets rid of that stress.
Yeah,
So
I think
one
that's
of
a
the things.
mindset thing. I don't think people
Yeah.
think of massage as a health thing. Other than it is a de-stressor. I need a massage to kind of loosen my muscles and make me feel good and help me relax. But I think people think of it as a luxury, not necessarily as a step towards better
Right.
health. So,
But it does help with your circulation and,
right. We have to think of it
everything
as
else. Yeah,
as
yeah.
a step in our health choices. So I haven't had a
Mary, what
massage
about
in
you?
years.
Mm.
Do
Never
you
had
have
one.
anything on a list there, or?
Well, I just printed out, so I didn't really get anything on that.
Well, but you can
But my
talk about your
choice would be to
convictions.
eat healthier
Mhm.
and exercise more. Can't, I don't know if that's an excuse or what, but I can't exercise, but I can walk. I can start to walk,
Mhm.
I think,
That's exercise.
because I'm so tight,
Yeah.
So, and with rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis and all my little issues, it's difficult.
You
So
might
the best thing,
benefit. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
the best thing for me is the water,
Mhm. Oh,
basically,
you're right.
to go in the water and to walk. So I did get a little walking in this week, but not a lot. So I really have to get out there. I have to use my walker to walk to help me,
Mhm.
but just get
balance?
out there and walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like my back always hurts when I walk,
Uh-huh.
but if I go to Walmart, I can walk all over Walmart because I'm holding on to a
Right.
cart. And
Right.
I think it's relieving the pressure on the back a little
Mhm.
bit or something. So, and now the balance because I have vertigo, so I get dizzy. So, but that's what I want to do. I want to eat healthier and
Yeah.
walk. Those are I'm looking on the refrigerator. Those are my choices. Now I have plenty of excuses why I'm not doing it, but I have to just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, I think we have to make that conviction of the things that we are choosing to do for our health. That has to be strong enough that the excuses become minimal. More conviction, less excuses. And for everybody, it's different. At what point do you give in and to a craving or, I'm going to go take a nap instead of taking a walk. I mean, I think that's different for everybody. What I was going to say about exercise, though, I think, Mary, you might benefit from a rebounder like I have, that little bouncy thing, because you can step on it, you can hold on for balance, and you don't have to do anything more than just bounce, and that will help your lymphatic system. I found that it helps me with balance. And here I am, an expert. I haven't done it in 3 months, except for this morning. I got back on it and I noticed a difference. I noticed that I wasn't as steady on my feet because I hadn't done it in 3 months. I noticed it was hard in the beginning, but by 18 minutes in, I was okay. Like, I could have kept going today, but I was looking at the clock and thinking shower, show, whatever. It comes down to time management for me, but that is something I think that will actually, I use it because I can't do regular floor exercises. Like, my brother had me doing Zumba with him remotely on Zoom on Zumba. But that was too hard on my joints. I had a hip and a knee replacement. So it was like, boom, boom, boom. I could feel it and it wasn't good. So, just being on the rebounder, sometimes I get a little jog in and sometimes I just bounce. But that might be helpful for you because it'll get everything going and put minimal stress on your body. I find it fun. I put my TV on and set it to 80s pop, because I can always find like a good dance beat to just boom, doom, doom, doom. And then if it's too fast or too slow, I go to the next song and go through it. But I spent a couple extra minutes on today because Girls Just Want to Have Fun came on, and I was like, oh yeah, I got to do this one, but I found that it's, that works for me because it doesn't hurt my joints.
Mary, I'm sorry.
It helps with your lymphatic system too. Really good to open that up, but go ahead.
They also sell those rebounder type things with a bar on it.
That's what mine has.
Hold on. Is that how yours is?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. But the ones with the bar on it, so you won't feel, unsteady or that you're gonna tip or wobble or whatever. You can, hang on to that and just start out slow and easy.
Yeah.
So there's also another thing that you can do. I don't know if you've seen these around, and I don't know how well, how you can do it, if you have a spot where you can do it, or even sitting in a kitchen chair or something with arms on it. But they have like those little pedals that just sit up on your floor and you can pedal slowly, with those pedals. And it has, a firm base on where there's, a wide thing about this big in the front and then in the back of it. And then it's just pedaling. That'll get stuff moving with your legs, keep your joints a little more, your muscles a little more flexible there to do that maybe.
That sounds good. I'll have to.
You could probably even put it on the table and do that with your arms too.
The thing I liked about the rebounder is that it got my heart pumping. And
Mhm.
I've been ignoring my heart for a long time. So, and again, you can modify it to be, you can go fast and kind of jog on it, or you can just bounce, but all of it, it gets your heart pumping too. So I like that one. Um, let's see. So we talked a little bit about food and exercise, and one choice that I've made for myself, and I have seen this it come to play with not for me personally since I've been to Florida, but for my husband especially, and my dad, is I've chosen a functional medicine doctor. Luckily, my practice is also a medical practice. So it's medical and functional medicine, but since they practice that functional medicine, they are extremely focused on finding the root cause. If you have an issue, they don't just prescribe a medication for you. They try to figure out, why are you having this issue? And I think if more doctors came from that philosophy, we wouldn't have so many people on different medications that they may or may not need with all the side effects. But, and I'm not saying that medication is not necessary. I think it's necessary, but I also believe that we overprescribe medication and we take it willy-nilly, like we don't know what's going on with us, right? The other day, I took my dad to a doctor, and he didn't even look at my dad. We were just in the same room, and he looked at the blood work, and he goes, okay, well, this looks good. You're fine there. And I'm like, but he still has this issue. What is this issue cause? Well, it's old age, whatever. And I'm like, okay, but it seems a little extreme for that. Basically, he said, well, the medication is a very good medication. A lot of people take that. That's the #1 medication for this. And you just got to give it time. It might take 3 months before it starts working. I mean, that's all he said. He didn't really treat my dad as a person. He was a number based on this blood work. I felt like it was cattle call, in and out of the office really fast. And I got dirty looks because I insisted on going in with my dad, and they only want one person. They don't want anybody with him. I'm like, he won't understand what you're saying to him. He can't hear you, and he doesn't always process it. So he doesn't even know what questions to ask. But I got dirty looks. Like, it was just a bad experience in this doctor's office, and it was a specialist. But you shouldn't feel like a number when you go to the doctor, and you shouldn't just be pushed aside with a medication to take care of an issue, because you're only treating symptoms. You're not treating root causes. And that's sort of a passion of mine lately. And the same with my husband. I finally got him to go to the functional medicine doctor and abandon all of his other doctors, because I feel like, especially in Florida where all the old folks live, that they don't have to take really good care of you because you're going to die soon. Like, I'm sorry, that seems kind of brass. I don't know, but it's true. It's like, I feel like for many of these doctors, they're in the business of doctoring for a paycheck. And, well, if we get it right, we get it right. But if we don't, oh, well, there'll be another patient coming along soon.
Yeah, they're following their playbook of what they were taught. If you have this, these are the medications you take, or this is the blood work we do, or this is whatever, what we do with you, or tests we run. And that's how I feel. I mean, yes, we need medical doctors, MDs, DOs to help us in emergent situations, heart attacks, emergency surgery, and all that as well. But if I can do something, like you said, with a functional medicine doctor, with a chiropractor, with supplements, with somebody that's going to work with me, I would like to go that route, no matter what eating right and doing all that as well. Exercise, do what you can, and then if something emergent or absolutely necessary comes up for a surgical thing, then that's a different story.
I think I'd rather have a partner in my health, and someone who helps me
listen.
analyze my life choices. We do it together and we say, oh, did you know? Like, for example, my husband is he has a smoothie every morning for breakfast. And he makes it himself, and his blood sugar was high, and he's been trying to lower that. And I'm like, well, why is that so high? You know? And I said, honey, I think it's your smoothies, that you have a lot of fruit in there. And the doctor said, she goes, yeah, are you using bananas? And he's like, yeah, I always have a banana in there. Oh no, bananas are like junk food for a diabetic because they're so high in sugar. So, you know, we didn't know that, you know, thought we were doing a good thing, the potassium or whatever. But now he doesn't use bananas. So
Mhm.
he'll get evaluated soon. But, you know, finding somebody who's looking at your life choices rather than just trying to treat the symptom. I think for us, like, we're all of the mindset that we're trying to be advocates for ourselves. And hopefully, I always treat going to the doctor like I'm kind of a skeptic. It's like, what are you going to tell me? Are you going to help me analyze this, or are you just going to prescribe me something? So I'm really like watching for that. But I feel like I'm an advocate for myself. Whereas how many people out there don't do that, who just listen to their doctors like they were the Pope, without thinking about it, because they say, oh, well, they went to medical school, they know everything.
I am.
And they follow blindly. And that's one of the things that I get scared about. Like my dad, like he has a hard time with hearing, and he keeps going to the same hearing aid facility. It's not a doc. He calls him a doctor. He's not a doctor. He's just somebody who fits hearing aids and knows something about it. But my dad believes everything he says and does everything he says. And I'm like, I don't think you're getting the best, you know. And then money is always an issue too. So for my dad, he already paid one price for his hearing aids, and anytime he goes back to get them readjusted or checked, it's all included in the price, so he never has to pay anything. And you know, for people over 80 or so, that's a factor. Money is a factor. It's like, oh, what can I get? What bargain can I get for this? Well, you shouldn't get any bargains with your health. You know, you shouldn't. I mean, not, yeah, sometimes we have to. Money is a factor. I'm not saying that, but as far as, you know, making poor choices, and he can afford it. He can afford whatever. So, but yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there.
Wait for a little bit. I'll be there in about 15 minutes. Is that okay? All right, bye. I have to leave, ladies. I'll
Okay. All right, well, do your homework, and if you feel comfortable, post a picture on Living Well and Wise.
Okay, I will.
And you know what? I'm thinking maybe we don't choose our name today. I don't know. We don't, I mean, because
I am woman, hear me roar. All right, I really do gotta go.
All
Take care,
right.
ladies.
Thanks
Okay,
for
thank
joining us,
you.
Mary. We'll see you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, why do we make the choices we make? You know, I think we have a life that we build, and if we like the way things are going, then we just do the same old, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
that's how we like it. And it's probably not until something upsets the apple cart
That you change something.
that you go, oh, why did that happen? Oh man. And then not everybody does that, but some people will start to educate themselves and find out, why is this happening, and make changes. Other people will just become victims and say, oh, poor me, you know, now I have this, now I have that. I have to take this medication. I have to go have this procedure or whatever it is. Whereas if you can become an advocate for yourself and be reflective, analyze what is going on in your life. What are the choices that you make that are positive for your health? And what are the ones that are affecting and, you know, are detrimental to your health?
And I think you mentioned earlier, mindset. Mindset is, you know, that self-talk too. It's not just, you know, it's what are you telling yourself? You know, can you do these things? Or, you know, like you said, are they convenient? Are you finding excuses not to do those things to live a healthier life or to be healthier? Or, you know, whatever the case is, you know, it's just, what are you telling yourself about that? About your choice, about what you're doing, or
And even when you're educated and you know what you should be doing positively in your life, why do you not do it? You know, what gets in the way? I hate that, you know, because I know, but my life, my day gets filled with all these other things, and
we have too long of a checklist.
yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe especially for somebody just starting out and starting to analyze their lifestyle and their choices, their health. Pick one thing, you know, pick one thing and then
Schedule
get
time
it
for
to be a
yourself.
habit, you know.
Yeah. Schedule time for yourself of whatever that one thing is that you want to improve. You know, if it's eating healthier, then use that hour or whatever you schedule it in your time block as a prep hour to have things available for yourself for that day or the next day. Maybe do your prep work the day before. If it's, you know, eating healthier, if it's exercise, then schedule that time and just go down there. And even if you don't complete it, you went down there and tried, you know, or outside or whatever you're doing, going for a walk, going for a bike ride, I don't know, whatever, you know, it doesn't have to be following a video or going to the gym, because going to the gym is, you know, that's easier of an excuse to get out of, unless you're working with a personal trainer and you're paying them for that time you're there.
I think, again, it comes to time management for me, and that when I was working, the one thing I hated most of all was having to set an alarm, get up in the morning before I was well rested, and go to work all day, and then come home and try to fit in the rest of my life. And since being retired, the one thing I've embraced is the flexibility of my time is my own. I can, other than, you know, when I have to take care of my dad or doctor's appointments, but most of the time my days are not scheduled. My days are whatever I want to do with them. And I guess if I'm being honest, I haven't been responsible about using that time wisely. And I don't think I should have to use my time wisely all the time. But again, you want all these things in life, something has to give, right? So if I want to lose weight, I want to get in shape, I want to have the best health ever, I am going to have to do something about that. And so that means maybe giving up some of that flexibility, or having some sort of a schedule for part of the day, at least, where I get those things in that need to be done so that I can reach those goals. You know, like I get up in the morning and I have the usual thing of making the coffee, feeding the cat, turning off the alarm and opening up the door so the cats can go play out on the patio. And then what comes next is, you know, whatever, you know, I might do some chores around the house. I might come in my office. I might get sucked up into Facebook. Not as much recently. I'm pretty good about staying away from that. Playing Wordle and Quirtle. Have you done that? Have you seen those games? I'm addicted. And now my brother and my daughter and I have a little group, and we play every day and we post our results. So we compare how we did, but it's a fun game. And what I love about it is that there's only one a day.
Right. That's what my niece said. She
Yeah,
was telling
and
us
so,
about
because you
Oregon.
could get sucked in and you could just keep playing and playing and playing if it was available that way, but one a day. So I feel like that's a good thing, and it gets my brain thinking too, but yeah, time management is the thing I need to work on so that I can have flexibility, but also schedule the things that need to get scheduled so that I don't waste away. It's too easy to get involved. Like yesterday, I was in here cleaning out all of the books. I was cleaning out my essential oil files because I'm like, why am I still holding on to this? I was just purging, organizing, cleaning, and the whole day was like that. 5:45, my dad walked in to come over for dinner, and I was like, what are you doing here?
It's too
I had no
early.
idea I had gotten so late. So, why do we make those choices? So it's more about, I guess, sticking to your convictions, adding to that conviction section where these are the choices that you need to make for your health, and maybe following through one at a time, creating a habit for yourself. I think I'm going to finish doing this, and I encourage anybody, this is on Living Well and Wise. And if there's a way that I can connect it, I have blank ones too. If there's a way that I can connect it to this meeting in any way, I was looking at the apps. I'm thinking, wait, can I add on something where people can download? I probably can do it on YouTube, and I can definitely do it on my Living Linda Loves Lavender page. I've been negligent about posting these there, so I'm going to have to get on that today. But I'll post the PDF so you can print it out too. And if you feel so comfortable, post it on Living Well and Wise. Or if you can send it to us, we can post it if you're not on there. But it'd be good to see how people think about this, and maybe that'll prompt further discussion as we go along. We also need a name.
I was just going to say, and we still don't have a name.
Don't have a name. I can't remember if I can find, if I go back through Living Well and Wise, maybe I'll be able to find some of those choices. Yeah. And if I share my screen, we can go back to that. Share my screen. Okay. So these were some of the ones, and I think we also added on to that. So we had on this side over here, the wonderful years instead of the wonder years, more wonder years. So playing off of this one here, living young, which I don't really like because it's too close to young living. And, you know, I'm, let's see, Fountain of Youth, that was cute. Heart to Heart for Health. I think that was some that people liked too. Anita was with us last week, the wonderful years and Heart to Heart for Health. And it was her, I think it was her suggestion to put the for health on there. And something with empowering. And then Camille, she's always good for this. Empowered living, inspired and empowered health, empowered living. I think all of those are good, but I have a choice that I like, but I want it to be group decisions. So if you're watching this, post on Living Well and Wise and let us know your ideas, or if you like something that you've heard, add, you know, say, yeah, I like this one, or here's a new one to consider. And hopefully we'll get a few more people in with us next week, and we'll have time to actually choose a name that works for all of us, that talks to the idea of women talking to each other and sharing these ideas. And I think I don't know if this is going to be able to, are you still in there with me? Let's see. Oh no, let's see. I think because I'm on the same page, you know, this is my idea for it, but this name is too big, right? This is our weekly chat for and about women, where we share ideas and thoughts and feelings and brainstorm solutions for living our best lives as healthy and vital individuals. That's what we're all about. But we got to get it to a shorter name. So next week.
Yep. That's pretty good. I mean, you put it all in one sentence. That was good.
I did, but that can't go on a Facebook group or,
Right.
you know, or else we're going to be calling it Zoom chat for the rest of our lives. But I'd like it to be something else chat, heart to heart for health chat, or the wonderful years, or empowered living. All of those would be helpful. I mean, just, and maybe we haven't thought of the perfect name yet. That's why I'm asking for your help, people who are watching. Help us think of a name. I pride myself on being creative, but as I said last week, I'm also impulsive. So I'm trying not to be impulsive. I don't want to choose a name and then regret it. So you can choose a name and I'll regret it, but then I don't have to have the blame. No, I want it to be a group decision. So, and I know there's people who watch secretly. So if you watch secretly, come on aboard and at least comment and let us know what you're thinking about that. So
Sounds good.
got plans for today?
Gonna go watch the boys play basketball. 4 hours.
They
of
are so
basketball.
sporty.
2 for Austin and 2 for Logan.
Wow. Wow.
2 games today for each of them.
Nice. Nice. I don't have anything on the schedule other than finishing the laundry, because I'm one of those people who has to spin the laundry in the dryer several times. But I have a load in the washer and a load in the dryer right now that I have to do, and empty the dishwasher. Those are my chores. And then tonight, I think we're going to go to a Greek festival. The local church, Greek church, is having a big Greek festival. And I thought, I like Greek food. So I'm
Yeah,
going to call my dad and tell
that'd
him
be
to get
fun.
here early. So we'll go and do that. And tomorrow there's a strawberry festival down in Brownwood area. And I'm going to meet my sister-in-law down there. And we're going to have, I'll get out hopefully. if it's rain or anything.
Strawberry pie, strawberry parfaits.
Strawberries are
kinds of
good. It's
strawberry.
strawberry season in Florida. They are good
Yeah.
to go, and they're sweet and juicy and yummy. So
Mm. Well, we'll be down in Naples next week. At the end of next week, we go down there.
well, on your way through, if you want to stop and have lunch or something, depending on your timing.
Oh,
you
we're
guys-
flying this time.
Oh, okay. You're
We'll be there
bypassing.
in April in the Villages for 3 weeks. So
Yay, that'll be fun.
we'll get to see you.
Yay.
We'll get to see you. We'll plan some dinners or
Yeah.
whatever, lunches, whatever.
Yep. Sounds good.
That'd be fun.
All right. Well, go and enjoy your weekend and your
All
boy,
right, you
your
too.
grandsons, your boys. Okay.
My little guys.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
All right.
Because we're a bunch of old bats. No. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I don't mean that at all.
Okay. Have a
Goodbye.
good day. Have a good
You too.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.